Hey, it's Alan Berg. Before we get into this episode, I'm starting something called Ask Me Anything. That's right. You submit your questions and they could become an entire episode or something that I answer at the end of an episode. To submit your questions, look for the red button at podcast.alanberg.com. That's right, podcast.alanberg.com. Click on the red button, submit your question, and maybe you'll hear it here on the podcast. Thanks. Problems are just opportunities to improve. Listen to this episode, see what brought this up. Welcome to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. I'm your host, Alan Berg. I'm a speaker, author, sales trainer, website reviewer, and I help businesses like yours sell more, profit more, and have more fun doing it. Enjoy this episode. Hey, it's Alan Berg. Welcome back to another episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. This is not a listener suggestion. This is my suggestion from a personal experience I've had recently. It started out as a really cool experience. Some of you listen to my audiobooks, and you know that 8 of my 10 books are on audio, done in my voice, myself, here either in my closet or right here with my podcast equipment that I've done them. I didn't do 2 of them, and that was the Caterer Venue edition of Shut Up and Sell More, or the DJ edition of Shut Up and Sell More. And the reason is they're pretty much the same book as the original Shut Up and Sell More Weddings and Events, so I didn't do them. I did the new version of Shut Up and Sell More of just about anything because I felt it was different enough. But I hadn't done the other 2, and I didn't think I'd get around to them. And I got contacted by Amazon's company, Kindle Direct Publishing, KDP, and they said, your books are on Kindle and paperback, but they're not on audio. Would you like us to do them using a virtual voice? And that's an AI voice. Now, it's not taking my voice, turning it into AI. It was an AI voice. And I said, curious. So they sent me over 10 voices to listen to. My wife liked the Australian woman's voice. And as much as I liked it, I didn't think that that would be the voice or should be the voice that was reading Alan Berg's book. I don't think I sound anything like an Australian woman. And then I listened to the male voices, and one of them sounded more like me than the other 2. There were 3 of those 7 women's voices. So I said, fine, let's go with this one. I told them in the morning, it's okay. In the afternoon, they were done. They were done. So if you want to listen to any of those in audio, not my voice, but certainly my words, my writings, they're there on Audible. You can go in. Now, here's where they're not. I have a page on Audible that's an author's page, just like I have on Amazon. I have an author's page and all of my books there. If you're looking at the paperback versions, you're going to see them in English, you're going to see them in Spanish, and you're going to see 2 books that I contributed to. Although I did not write the whole book, I was a contributor, so I'm listed as one of the authors. They show up there as well. So that's 10 and 7, that's 17, 18, 19. There's 19 books there on my author's page. If you go to Audible, there should be now 10 audio books, but there are only 8, the 8 that I did in my voice. So if you go to getalansbooks.com, that's my Audible authors page, you'll see 8 books there, not 10. So I contacted KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, and I said, hey, how come my books are not showing up there? And I've had it in the past where a book didn't show with my others, either a paperback or a Kindle, and they were able to fix it right away. And they said to me, that's not us. That's Amazon. You have to go to Amazon because the author's page is on Amazon. And they gave me the phone number. So I contacted Amazon, and they answered, and they were very polite. And they said, that's not us. That's ACX, which is the back end of Audible, right? That's another Amazon company. So they're all Amazon companies, but they're different departments, right? So I contacted ACX and I said, hey, 8 books are there, 2 books are not there. Can you get the other books there? And they said, you didn't do those through us. You did those through Kindle Direct Publishing. You have to contact them, which if you're following along, that was who I contacted first. So here I am in a loop. And what prompted this in terms of the learning opportunities, along the way, nobody said, hey, unintended consequence. Sorry, we didn't realize that was going to be a thing. Thanks for letting us know. We're going to work on that, even if you couldn't fix it today. Nobody took that as this is a problem. Not that's just my problem. This is clearly going to be a problem for every other author, even if they've never done any of their own audiobooks. If they had more than one book, book, they can have an author's page. And on that Audible author's page, it should have all of your books, right? It just makes sense. If you search on Audible, you can find those two books. Just search Shut Up and Sell More Weddings and Events, Caterer Venue, Shut Up and Sell More Weddings and Events, DJ Band Photo Booth. You're going to find those books. You won't find them on my author's page. So if you're reading one of my books or listening to one of my books and click on my name, it goes to the page that has the 8, but not the 10. So what is this? How does this apply to the rest of us? When somebody comes up to us with a problem, are we looking at it as, well, the worst way is, hey, not my problem, somebody else's, and kick you over to someone else. But we're looking at it as, hey, let me fix your issue, or, hey, is this a bigger issue? Is this something that affects more people? And also turn it around to opportunities. I remember speaking to a jeweler one time, and I said, when people come in and ask for something that you don't have, do you keep track of that to see if there's any patterns? And they said, oh, well, we used to, we don't anymore. Okay, why not? Well, they just stopped. There was no particular reason. Another personal example, I flew to London one time, did the overnight flight, and I get in, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. By the time I get to my hotel, it's 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning. My room's not ready. Obviously, it's too early. And so they took my bags and I said, you know what? I want to get a scone. I'm in London. I would like a cup of tea and a scone, right? What's more London than that? And I asked where there's a bake shop around. They told me. I walked down the street. I was kind of in the Piccadilly Circus area. I walked down the street and there's this baked goods in the window and kind of a pretty big kind of bakery restaurant. And there's a young man at the host stand. And I said, excuse me, do you sell scones? And he said, oh, we don't. I get asked a bunch of times a day, but we don't. But if you go down the street, you see that awning on that hotel, they sell them there. And I'm thinking, you just told me that you get asked several times a day if you have scones and you don't. Is that information getting transmitted back to the owner, back to the chef, back to the baker, to know that people are asking for scones and we don't have them? And in my case, they lost a sale. Now, that's not a big deal. They lost one sale. But how many other sales did they lose? How many other people said, no, I'm not going to eat here because I want a scone? So I went down the street and there's a hotel and I went into their restaurant and I said, do you have scones? And they said, yes. And I sat and I had a wonderful breakfast, reading the London Times, drinking a cup of tea off of mismatched beautiful china with beautiful patterns on it, eating my scones with clotted cream and jam. And it was wonderful. But they lost the sale up the street because they weren't transmitting back that how many other people are asking for this same thing. Now, just because somebody's asking doesn't mean you have to do it, but it's a pretty short trip for a bakery restaurant to add scones to the menu when you're already baking all these other goods there, right? It's not like I'm asking a bicycle shop to bake scones, right? So where in your business are the opportunities if people are coming to you and saying, hey, do you offer this? Where you say, when is it time that I should do those other things? Now, if they fit in with your business, like clearly scones fit in with a bakery, that was a clear thing right over there. A jeweler, if people are asking for, pink elephant charms and you hear it again and again, oh, maybe there was a movie came out with that, or maybe some celebrity was wearing that on TikTok or something. You want to know so you can order those and get those in. They fit with your business, right? You don't want to do something that takes you into a totally different direction unless you're looking to build in that direction. You can build off of that thing. So think about this: problems, listening in terms of opportunities, right? It's not a problem if somebody says, do you do something and you don't do it, right? You might be able to refer them to someone else, or you might be able to get them that service through someone and you can provide it through you to them without doing it. So there's opportunity there as well. But the problems are the opportunities when, if someone's having trouble finding something on your website, or they don't understand exactly what you do, and they constantly say, hey, do you do this? Do you do this? And you're like, of course I do that. How do they not know I do that? Well, maybe the problem is that it's not as clear to them as it is to you. I was reviewing somebody's website today and we found some errors where there are things missing in terms of menu items and things like that. But also part of those menus is the clarity of what do you do? How do I get the information I want? How do I find out more and things like that? And I've talked about website stuff on other episodes. You can listen to those, me with Brian Lawrence and others. But problems are opportunities. Finally, after going in my loop between Kindle and Amazon and ACX, Kindle and Amazon ACX, finally somebody said, hey, figured out the problem. Because you didn't create the book on ACX, it won't show up there because it didn't go through their system through the regular way. But, we're going to let people know that that's what it is. So they didn't solve the problem, but they finally said, oh, now we know what the problem is. Now we're going to report it on there, and then hopefully we'll fix it. Now, will anybody ever come back to me and say, hey, thanks for reporting this, we fixed this? Doubtful. I doubt that. But what I want you to do is listen to the problems, listen to the friction, listen to what people are asking for, and look for the opportunities, not only fix someone's problem or to make one sale, but to make the problem go away so it just doesn't exist, reduce the friction, or to come up ahead of the curve because you hear what people are asking for and you're able to provide that new service, and it's a new profit center for you. Hope that helps. Thanks. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Wedding Business Solutions Podcast. If you liked it, please subscribe to this channel and post a review on your chosen platform, Apple Podcasts or whichever one. If you have any questions about anything in this episode or any of my episodes, email me directly at alan@weddingbusinesssolutions.com or visit my website, alanberg.com, alanberg.com. If you have any suggestions for future topics or guests that you'd like to see, please again, email me or visit my website. Thanks for listening.